Hello everybody, welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and today, voila, we're almost done. That thing's looking pretty sexy. I've got the frame done. It's a little twisted, so I had to shim on the back side here between the top of the tank and the bottom of the hanger, because this board here, I'll show you here in a minute what I got. Gotta have a drink. So let's turn this light on over here, this bright one. I think I'm gonna have to dull them down a little bit. That's too bright. Makes it look like the sun. But we got everything out of that tank and found one crawdad, and he's over here somewhere, right there. If you can see him. I don't have a light handy or I'd show you, but I can see his tentacles there moving back and forth in the water. But what I did, I put my rocks basically the same as they was. They're spread out further because the tank's longer. And then I had one flat rock that worked perfect for. I went and dug out a hole, and there's a tunnel going down into it. He hasn't found it because he's probably still in shock from the move. I disturbed him. So I'm hoping he finds that hole and uses underneath here, and if he keeps digging out, eventually he'll dig this gravel out right here, and we'll be able to see all the way through and be able to see him. So he'd just be opening himself up for a viewing. But everybody seems to be happy. I used the same water that I had in that one. Basically all I did was took the output on the pump and moved it over to this tank and left the input in this tank to suck it out, and just sat here and waited for it to finish, and got down to all the muck and stuff, replaced all the filters, cleaned the stuff inside the pump, and I added a wave maker to keep that water disturbed, and it does a pretty good job. And I can point it downward or upward. We're going to give that a shot. I think I'd like to have the water agitated and it's not blowing any water up on the wood. Bubbles, I got away from doing bubbles. I used to use bubbles in my water, and I just find that they make a heck of a mess. In fact, right here's a prime example of what I'm talking about. You see this right here? This is wet. That's the wrong thing to have under your hood, is wet wood. So them bubbles did all this damage, blowing that stuff up, because when the bubbles hit the top of the water, it explodes and then it goes everywhere. So I wanted to stop that. I don't have that problem in the one in the living room. So this one's getting a 2.0. This is the 2.0 version. The Bison built. Well, they're both Bison built. I built that stand in there too, in hood. But I got my pump working. You can barely hear it. My light works. I haven't got the white ones hooked up yet. That goes to this switch. and basically I just made me a box, 3D printed a box to put in here, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 holes, so that when I mount this, we got 2 inputs. We got the blue lights input right here, and then this goes to the blue lights because it's continuous, so they have to be on 2 separate power. The power has to be separated. So this one here is the input for the white, and this is the output for the white, and I'm just waiting for my lights so I can make that pigtail to go out and up to the white lights and get them installed on the top of this. So let me see if I can set you up here and we'll show you the lights. So basically I just ran this wire back through here through a little hole, and then eventually I'm going to make some plates to go over those to go all the way down to this, so that nothing can ever escape this. Crawdads are escape artists. They're very good at finding holes to get out. So I'm going to make plastic 3D print some plates for all 3 of those and seal them up. Each one of them will be a different shape, of course. So it's agitating the water good, and I also made this so I can unplug it. So if I ever want to remove the light, I can just unplug it. The other white one's going to have a plug on it too, because it's going to have a white wire or what for white lights, and it's going to have the same pigtail in the same area. And once I'm done, then I get it where it's set right. I could probably use some of that wire loom that's split down the middle and put it down on it, and that way when you slide that back and forth, it will just go down in that hole. Of course, I'll have it pinned right here so it's a straight shot. That way it'll just slide right down in there like that. See how convenient that is? It's a masterpiece in its works. So then, get ready to get blinded, guys. Then we've already pre-marked for all our white lights where we're going to put them. We ended up being able to get 4 white lights on each side. 2 in the middle and 3 on each end. And because I wanted the blue lights to kind of be center every third, something like that. So then I'm thinking about making some end caps to go on each end of this, because I also want to make 3D print some pieces that will snap down in there or even slide. Well, no, it'd have to snap down in there, but it'd have to be a snap you'd be able to get back off. But this stuff's pretty flexible, so you have some flex that will help you make your piece to just snap down on there. Just basically have a little square with a little tit on the end of it that goes down underneath this and goes on the other side of it, but not far enough to where you can just pop it right up out of there. Or I might try to use some of that boat trim stuff and put on it. I got a whole roll of that boat trim rubber that goes in a track. I don't know if I can modify it to work for this or not. But we'll try. So eventually these wires here will get covered, but I'm not really worried about them getting wet, because the way I have it set up, I have no bubbles, so there's really no reason for this thing to be wet. I may end up having to put some vented screens in it I don't know. I'll probably want to put a gap between the hood and this, and then just put some bumpers on third and each corner. That'd make a nice little, and a cushion drop. So when you set it down, it doesn't have a slam. It's got a cushion hit. So I'm waiting on a piano hinge for it. I'm waiting on these lights. I've already got the gasket on it, and we're probably going to screw them in instead of using pop rivets, because I know it's going to be a bitch to get in here to put the nut on it, but I'd rather be able to take them off without having to drill and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to do it that way. If it don't work, it don't work. May have to think of something. But I'm trying to keep as much metal out of this as possible. So far, everything's aluminum, plastic. This is metal. It's like a springy material. These clips are metal. I don't like metal around it because metal likes condensation. But we'll see how this works. We may have to vent it. I don't know. Time will tell. But I don't really think I need to do anything to the inside of this, as long as I don't let it get wet. The only way this thing's going to get wet is if the water got so low because you're too lazy to put water in your tank because you're depressed that month. And it starts blowing air, yeah, then it's going to blow water everywhere. But my fish are loving it. I'm kind of liking it myself. But that timer, man, that thing is a pain in the ass to set. And I got me some fishing stuff, and here's my other logo that will go right here, right in the center. And the lid's just going to fold up and lean against the wall when I go to lift it, and then it'll lean back there against the wall, and when I'm done I can reach up there and bring it back down. And it's going to have probably a 1/2 inch lip on the end of it, and that'll be our lift, our handle. And I'm using a piano hinge the full length of this. I got a 6-foot piece coming for it. So I love how them doors work. Yep, that's cool, man. And there's the same gap all the way around it, so it's actually vented. So if you look down there, it's got the same contour all the way around. A little bowed in places. Some of them boards are bowed, but they're pretty damn straight to be frickin' 60 years old. Cut them some slack, guys. Let them boards get old. They're getting grouchy when they're bowing like that. So I even got one door here where both of them got a big old crack on it, but because of the way I mounted it together, even if they did split, they'd end up being 4 boards instead of 2 boards, because they're all bolted together. Because I got one here, one here, one here, and one here. So if it splits right here, it's still held. Either way. So, well, there she is. Got to do the lights, the white ones. Get that done. The box is already ready to plug it in. So, I think I need to redesign that box and put some labels where things are supposed to be. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll show you the top in another video. So now I still got to run some sandpaper around all of it. I'm just going to lightly touch it. I'm just going to. Now I could probably do it with steel wool, but I don't want it catching my steel wool. So sandpaper, just really lightly do it and knock all the loose stuff off of it, if there is any. I'm sure there is. And take the brush and just start brushing it down. Just got to be careful getting around here. You don't want to get it on your tank. Of course, it wouldn't hurt it if you did. But I've made this so that it's up against the plastic, so the plastic can't move all the way around it. So it's got its own. This tank is its own band. It is a tank band. So don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys have a good one. Later.